With all the recent conversations regarding the recasting or the potential recasting of T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, I wanted to take the time to give some of my thoughts and opinions on whether I think it's a good decision, a bad decision, or just overall how do I feel about it, and also discussing who I believe should be recasted to play T'Challa. Welcome back to the Voiceovers Podcast. I'm 24K Logan. So, of course, the late great Chadwick Boseman passed away in 2020. And when he passed away, there were some immediate conversations as if to whether the character of T'Challa in Black Panther should be continued, recasted, or should they kind of put it to the shelf, at least for the time being, right? Now, of course, that was almost 5 years ago. There are still a lot of people who believe that the character should be recasted, that the character should have been recasted a long time ago. But then you also have some people who rather not see it because of how beloved Chadwick Boseman is, how great of a job he did, and the overall impact and influence that Black Panther has had on the culture, right? For me, I was one of those people when Chadwick first passed away. I was completely against the idea of recasting. Not because I didn't feel that there wasn't a single actor on planet Earth good enough to pull off the role, but it was more so because I had got so accustomed to Chadwick playing T'Challa, and because of how good he did the role, I just felt that at the time it was way too soon to even have a conversation about the recasting. And fast forward now to 2025, I've had a small change in heart. I'm still very skeptical about recasting T'Challa, but if they're going to do it, and I did a very small video about this a week ago where I stated that I believe if they were to recast T'Challa, I believe that Damson Idris should be the one casted for the role. I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but to get back overall into the conversation of the recasting in itself, when we're talking about recasting T'Challa, now I've heard people use the argument, well, there's been multiple Superman since Christopher Reeve died. There's been multiple Jokers since Heath Ledger died. There's been multiple Batmans. There's been multiple Spider-Mans. And while that is very true, maybe with the exception of a Christopher Reeve as Superman, no disrespect to the other people that I just named, but other than Christopher Reeves as Superman and Heath Ledger as Joker, I don't think that we saw someone have the cultural impact that Chadwick Boseman had playing a superhero. And we have to take some consideration into this. Now, not to make this all about race, but Chadwick was the very first person to play the Black Panther character on the big screen in a feature-length film. When we're looking at this, strictly from a cultural standpoint, the representation that Chadwick was and still is for Black and brown people all throughout the world, especially Black and brown children. Again, not to make this all about race, but it's things like that that we have to take into consideration. You can't just hire anybody to play T'Challa. Those are some big shoes to fill. Now, I'm not saying you have to get the most famous Black actor to pull this role off, but I do think that you have to choose somebody who will give it all they have to put on a great performance and not even try to live up to what Chadwick did, but to somehow, some way, to a small degree at least, pay some homage to Chadwick, but also bring a great portrayal of the character T'Challa / Black Panther. and continue the mantle. I think that's how you have to go about it. You can't just, and Marvel knows this, I think we all know this, you can't just hire anybody to play this role. That's why a lot of people have said, of course I've said Damson Idris, but a lot of people have also brought up Aldous Hodge, John Boyega, John David Washington, a few others. But these are some big name actors, and actors who have shown range. They've showed great emotion. They have the looks. They're young, in shape. These are some guys that can pull it off. I think they have a lot of potential to pull it off, which leads me to what I had stated earlier, Damson Idris. Now, I'm a big fan of Snowfall. If you're not new to this channel, I have went on record to say that Snowfall is one of, if not my favorite show of all time. And Damson Idris, who of course played the main character Franklin Saint, played a huge part in why I love the show so much. And just being honest, not even trying to be funny, Damson Idris does have Nigerian in him. So as someone who we know can pull off doing different accents, as someone who already knows about African culture, comes from African culture, has the looks, good shape, young, shows a lot of emotion, has good acting range, and he does have a very big credit under his belt and a lot of buzz surrounding him, he would be a great candidate. So overall, do I want to see the recasting? Well, like I said, I am skeptical, but I do understand from the standpoint of, while we all miss Chadwick Boseman, he can never be replaced. I don't think nobody will ever do the role better than he did. It's one of those things where the harsh reality, I think for a lot of people, they look at it as the show must go on. But they're not saying don't pay homage to Chadwick. I think more people are focused on continuing the character of the Black Panther. And from that standpoint, if it's all about continuing the role or continuing the character of the Black Panther, continuing the role, the character of T'Challa, then I'm all for it. I just would hope that, which I'm assuming they will, I would hope that Marvel would be very particular and very careful about who they decide to ultimately portray the character. But that'll do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We have plenty of content on the way. I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you all are doing well. I'm looking forward to everything that we have coming for you guys this year. There's going to be a short film release towards the tail end of this year. A lot of reviews coming, anniversary celebrations, album reviews, movie reviews, rankings, lists, a lot of different things. So you guys stay tuned. But comment down below what you think about the whole recast T'Challa situation. Do you want to see the character recasted? Do you not want to see it recasted? Or are you in between? And if so, who do you think should be hired to play the role of T'Challa? Thank you so much again for watching. And until next time, peace and love to everybody.